Welcome to Cinema 5D on the Couch, the talk show with filmmakers and industry leaders. Brought to you by G Technology, Rode Microphones, Movidium, Red Shark, Film Convert, and FNV.
So how do you deal with data workflow? I mean, I guess you produce a lot of stuff on the medium format, right?
Yes, I produce a lot of stuff and actually ended up work also with some sort of peculiar workflow. So I have a Mac Mini and I have a big G-Speed, the 24 terabyte configured RAID 5, Thunderbolt 2, and all the files go there, so it's used for storage and for processing. And I created at home small network infrastructure, a few cold storage units, and actually every evening there is a script which updates all the drives.
Mm-hmm.
So in order, exactly as you said, to handle the bandwidth needs, I have a let's say a scheduled process. But indeed, medium format, yes, it will cost you. It will cost you in cards. It will cost you in the storage.
What's the resolution on one of those phase one stills?
I shoot with 50 megapixels and 80 megapixels, but the files are 16 bits, so these are 2 orders of magnitude more than what standard cameras like Nikon, Canon, or any other Sony can actually
So
handle.
what's the file size on one?
And for example, uncompressed TIFF file is 300 megabytes easily. And then when you start processing the file, adding layers of refinement, this can go up to gigabyte per file easily. I'm talking about the photos that I start retouching a bit and stacking the layers of noise reduction, not in any excessive retouching. So I've been shooting now for Jeep, for example, long exposure photographs of the Jeep Renegade car. And over there was a little bit of retouching involved because, well, you're shooting long exposures, it's a car photography. So you have to, every reflection must be correct, every detail must be fine. If something is kinked or dirty, that you have to retouch. So in order to send to client, you create Photoshop files with 20 or 30 layers, every stupid tiny thing, retouched and then masked. And you easily end up with 4 or 5 gigabytes per one photo. And let's say you send 30 or 40.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I ended up even not sending, just driving with with a hard drive and just giving them.
Yeah, I still send a lot of hard drives around the world, to be honest.
Yeah.
Bandwidths are not big enough for raw video, I guess. Or not for, any kind of
Data.
acquisition video files, I guess. Yeah.
The thing I find is that I've got fiber installed in the office, so I can send up files no matter what the size. But then people always have trouble downloading them. Always. I've used all sorts of different servers, and they literally no one has a decent internet connection at work or at home. And they literally, I'm going, I'll just download it. It's 2.5 gig. It's fine. They go, no, not going to happen. So I go, all right, I'll post you a disk. So it's a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, I had the same experience. I mean, especially if you zip up, it's like a 6 gigabyte file. I just had that a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
I had to split it into 500 megabyte chunks, and then they were able to download it. But yeah, it's hard, and I think the internet connections still have a long way to go until we are able to actually deal with the raw footage that we are shooting via cables, I guess. So there's a big market for sending hard drives around the world still, I guess.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Absolutely, yes.
To be honest, I think am I the only guy who really shoots almost exclusively tethered? Do you shoot mainly to the cam, and so do you?
I hardly ever shoot tethered because
Okay.
I'm starting.
Okay. Good.
I'm learning to appreciate the tether.
You should get a case like mine.
Oh, it's lovely. You have a lovely case.
Well, I shoot almost exclusively tethered. So for the video guys who aren't familiar with that, basically the camera just connects to the computer and doesn't, you don't store the image at all in the camera. It just goes straight to the laptop. So in the laptop, then it goes to 2 G Drive EV SSDs. And then I have an automator script to watch a folder. So as soon as an image comes into that folder, then it then gets automatically copied to those 2 drives. So obviously they're kind of tucked in the underside of the case and they're SSDs, so there's no heat issues. So then as soon as I get back to the office and going back to getting time back into the day, because I use the G-Dock in the office, I take one of those drives out of the case, pop it in, copy it off, and I can just leave it while it's copying. I mean, it doesn't take very long now, but like I can leave it there and I can go and put dinner in, or I can go and do something else. I can get a bit more time back into my day.
Nice. That
So
would make
it's-
sense for video too.
Yeah. Well, there's a bit of a hole in the market there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does the tethered work? Is it like via Wi-Fi or?
No. It's right. So the old school guys, apparently, who are still considered Hasselblad. I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for saying this, but basically Hasselblad for some reason still put a FireWire cable attachment on their new cameras. But the Phase guys, and I actually use Leaf. I use Mamiya and Leaf, which are owned by Phase. I use a USB 3 connection.
Okay.
So actually, it's pretty quick. Getting one of these files, the RAW that comes off it is between 50 and 70 meg.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of use the RAWs exclusively.
I've used recently Wi-Fi. I have.
How was that?
It's absolutely awesome.
Was it?
Yeah, it was absolutely awesome because you
Do
can
they
have.
use AC?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can have a person or client, or actually it was a shoot for just for family, just for fun. I just give people. So the back of my camera IQ250 runs a server, and you create ad hoc type of wireless connection with all the devices like iPads and laptops. And on your iPad or on your laptop, you type in the IP address, which is the address of the digital bag, which is on my camera, and then you have a browser with all the photos coming in with some basic adjustments.
Capture Pilot.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
absolutely awesome.
Is it just shooting like previews out, so they're small, so that they can just look at them, or is it actually?
No, it's shooting
send
the
the raw?
file, but then there's a small preview file that
Yes.
then gets sent out.
Okay, yeah, so it's not sending
Yeah.
raw files out.
No.
Gotcha.
Not sending raw files,
Interesting.
but they already can have a color profile, LUT applied, and it's
Mm.
pretty cool because you can already have a sort of idea how it will look if the light is balanced properly. I mean, I'm just checking out what you do, and I'm trying to replicate for portrait.
But that's nice for clients. I
To be
guess.
honest, well, that's what I use on shoots. I have 4 or 5 of the iPad mini Retinas. I mean, I know that the colours are slightly flat on them, obviously with the screen issues. But, you give those out. They all, the universal access, so you lock them into that app so they can't use it for anything else. And then you can use the Capture Pilot. So as I shoot an image from the camera, goes to the laptop, that then gets split onto those 2 drives, and then Capture Pilot runs as a server. And then the MacBook Pro is broadcasting a signal to the Wi-Fi, so then all the iPads go onto that. So they can actually flick through the
Yeah.
shoot
You
completely
can get them
unrelated.
star rated. You can
Yeah,
get
yeah.
star
So
rated.
they can go,
Yeah.
oh, I really like that shot. We'll definitely have
5
that.
stars.
5 it. But then
Yeah.
the cool thing is that then sends it back to my catalog that I'm shooting
So he
to.
gets update. Yeah, indeed, that's super. So you get instantaneous feedback.
That's
Already
perfect,
your photos have some metadata when you can see people just gave you feedback. It's
Mhm.
awesome because you don't have to have them coming to you and showing iPad and then just looking back. Oh, which actually photo was that in my
Yeah.
library?
That's
It saves a lot of time.
DSC 1.4.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
I
Or
remember
this,
148.
or this angle. No, it really
Yeah.
works. I
Remember
was
that.
testing that. I never used that in the field,
Yeah.
but I'm considering now I'm going to be doing more projects with car manufacturers. And, it's with
Just
these
to
guys.
give one to the art director.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
it's
You
perfect.
have 8 hours with the car. That's max. You have 2 hours of a light. So if you do, and that was my experience with Jeep, you have like 6 hours with the prototype car, and that's it. So you better really shoot what you need.
Mhm.
And with the Jeep, for example, we had a laptop. We were not shooting tethered, but every 20 minutes, my partner Lumi, she was just going, and we were offloading. She was quickly processing the photos, so the marketing guys could immediately see, okay, that angle we like, this angle is not good, there's too much noise, or, well, there's a feature of a car we don't necessarily want to show now. On this screen, you will never see that.
Mhm.
And this is one of the features which even 2 years ago I thought, oh my God, this is just ridiculous. Some Wi-Fi things, what's the point of having Wi-Fi or whatever? But now I really start understanding, appreciating,
Yeah.
high paid job, short turnover time, lots of pressure, a very, very clear list of demands and angles which you have to cover, and set of features which they don't want to really show.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
But also, it makes the client feel like they're more involved. If
absolutely.
they're kind of scrolling through and going,
Yes,
oh yeah, no,
yes.
I like that
Yeah,
one. blah,
they
blah, blah.
retain control over the thing and they feel more confident.
Not
and,
all
and
the
co-
control.
Yeah, but exactly. But at least the
They
communication.
get the feeling.
That's
no,
it. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
it's
That's the
about
important bit.
communication. It's better communication simply.
Yeah.
I mean,
But Tom, what happens when they pick everything as 5 stars?
Then we have a bit of an issue. So
It's like
obviously all the
highlighting
shots
everything
are
with
great,
a text
you know.
mark.
Exactly,
Like in
it's like-
school. Well, that's
exactly.
important. That's my should
Yeah.
learn.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Everything has yellow marker through it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, to be honest, when people do choose a load of 5 stars, I then go through, and if there's any I want to add in, I kind of basically go, yeah, that's my selection. I'll just proof up just those images, unless they've kind of, because what happens a lot of the times is kind of people love the iPad, they'll put it down, and then they'll pick up someone else's iPad, and so people have been rating different images, and sometimes it kind of gets a little bit crossed. So most of the time, it works absolutely brilliantly. But yeah, it's such a great such a great thing to have. Sorry.
So all the tethered stuff is still new to the video world, I guess. I mean, I'm trying to implement it in my workflow. I have this remote HDMI, and that I really like to give to clients because video villages and that kind of stuff on bigger shoots.
Mhm.
On the small shoots, so far most people have the client and the agency huddling behind the cameraman and just looking into the screen,
which is a
which is
nightmare.
an absolute nightmare. And having a tethered screen with a cable with SDI or anything running there permanently is terrible if you're shooting on location and have to move all the time.
Mhm.
So I moved into using that Radian or Paralinx
Okay.
transmitter, which is actually quite nice. I actually
What's
ended
the
up.
range like?
Hmm?
What's the range like?
Well, if there is nothing, prohibiting between the sender and receiver, it can go up to like 90 meters.
Okay, that's decent.
And if there is something between, it's probably only just 25.
Okay.
But it's still okay.
That's
I mean,
still- that's still
it can do one normal wall, I would
Mhm.
say, and then it's problematic.
Okay.
But I mean, I just used it on. I talked about that before. I think I had the client. We hired a bus for a commercial shoot here in Germany like half a year ago. We didn't have enough extras to fill up that bus. There were 2 missing, so I put the client in the frame, facing the camera with their shoulder, like from the back, and they just had the remote HDMI there and were actually watching what I was shooting while they were sitting in frame. So
I would
That's
not be
pretty
able to
nice.
control myself from just kind of going, "Ooh, hiya." Yeah, I'm a bit of a child.
I mean, it's getting there, but it's not with all the control stuff. I mean, we're still not sending video files to, live to something.
Mm.
I mean, we rarely do. I mean, there's all this live broadcast stuff, but that still hasn't quite caught on the film world, so to speak, the cinematography world. I mean, there's the Teradek stuff with the tethered, stuff, but it's not so reliable yet for, to use this as the only recording option. You would still
Mhm.
record in camera.
Right. Okay.
So
See, well, the main advantage for me with tethering is obviously basically I can obviously shoot tethered and then shoot into something like Capture One. You can preset, so you can basically have adjustments coming through. You want to boost the contrast and bring the saturation down, stuff like that. So you can basically give the client almost give them a really rough idea of how the finished file will look, and that also obviously stops you from just loading in the really plain raw files as well. That for me is like the big advantage.
Yeah. Guys, to
How's
wrap
yours in the sun?
to wrap this conversation up, show us your case.
How do you want me to intro it? Because I can.
You can just share it.
Well, we
out.
were talking about tethering earlier.
Well,
so-
yeah, it's like we
barn
kind of
set.
missed it talking about then, but
So I have basically I mentioned it to Camille. This is actually my kind of tethering case that I have on almost all my shoots. So kind of all my location stuff and kind of my actually I haven't checked it since I moved it about. It's a bit of a mess. But
Do you need your laptop?
I'll tidy it up. No, you can grab it. I don't know where can you chuck me that North Face bag? What's
Because
below here?
that really makes it.
so
make
you
sense.
use this on set.
Yeah. I use this all the time. So basically, we've got in here. If you can open up this one here, that big pocket. So it is basically everything I would need to shoot tethered on location. Can you check me the DigiShade as well? So basically, under here is, let me plug these in. Right, so I've got the 2 SSDs there. I've got a Wacom tablet there. And then this little thing, which basically clips on there, I think. So basically there is my kind of location tethering kit. So I have kind of a USB hub in here, which basically my tether tools cables run tethered. So I've got 2 5-meter ones, so I can go up to 10 meters away from the case. Normally here, I haven't flown it out because we're at a show, but normally in here is one of the Hypermac or Hyperjuice massive 222 batteries. So I get an extra kind of 3 or 4 charges out of this. The whole case is kind of built around the Trek Pack system. I don't know if you guys know much about the Trek Pack,
Love
guys.
the
but-
Trek Pack system.
So yeah, you're familiar with it. Yeah, it's basically a company out of Denver who make these really clever foam dividers. That basically means that you can build cases like this. So it's kind of super easy to customize. It's lightweight and it's strong. So they kind of build stuff that's specifically designed for Pellies and stuff like that. So I shoot here, and then if you kind of you're gonna smash some stuff. You kind of go. If we look behind it, let me take this off. It's quite a neat little screen shade, magnetic. So you kind of look down here. In here I have the 512 gig SSDs from G Technology. So basically, they go into these cables, which is kind of routed underneath, and then there's go into a USB hub because they take no power, so they can run off the hub. It's not a problem. So it means I have all these ports free on this side, and I have the automator action that sends them both to these. At the end of the shoot, I pull these out. One goes with my assistant, one goes in my pocket. The files stay on the computer, 3 copies.
Nice.
I've not done anything.
So you have instant backup.
Yep.
It's an autonomous
two,
system.
two instant backups because it goes to the 2 drives. I can have as many as I want, really.
Yeah, and you can really use this on top of a mountain or without power. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, you can literally take it anywhere. So it's sorry.
Could you go with the Mac Pro with HDMI? Can you go HDMI in from the camera to
Ooh.
drives?
From the, you mean through?
HDMI out from the camera and then HDMI to the computer? Is it only?
Because you can do HDMI in on some Macs,
You need-
can't you?
You need another box.
Another
Maybe
box.
like
You can't-
Magic
a switch.
Mini.
You know, this the HDMI of a
Yes.
MacBook is just out.
out,
Yeah.
not in. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
But that would be
yeah,
pretty
you-
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, on the iMacs.
The
and stuff,
mini one, I
HDMI 's
hope
in
they
is-
fixed it finally.
Yeah.
I bought it and I sent it back.
I mean, you could use. I think there are some solutions from Teradek and other companies who
Mhm.
enable
Like
you.
a capture device, and you
yeah.
can record in ProRes, for example.
That would
directly
be
to
awesome.
You know,
drive.
the
Go straight to your-
AJA
Yeah.
or like Magic
Yeah.
capture
This could be your
text.
confidence monitor, your MacBook
Absolutely,
Pro.
you can
know,
even
like,
you even have a software which does all the vectorscopes and other things on
Mhm.
the live HDMI signal that goes in, and it's actually looks pretty cool.
Mm.
cool. More toys I now need to go
So yeah,
purchase.
exactly.
Yeah,
I think
more-
everyone should have one of these.
more
though,
gear,
like,
just
just
carry
build
on.
a case up because you can like. I mean, like, I don't even like.
Make,
I mean,
you
obviously, this is no good for you guys, but I have like Bluetooth. You know, the UE Boom Bluetooth speaker, stuff like that. It just lives there on the case. Music on shoots is obviously for video guys probably no good. That's probably why I don't like video so much. I
Quiet on the set.
I hate quiet on the set. I want my shoots as loud as possible. I'm deaf. I'm 60% deaf in this ear and 40% deaf in this ear.
Picked a good ear.
Right, exactly. Too right. No, I want as much noise as possible. I want people shouting, having a laugh, dancing. You can't do that with videos.
Well, you
It's
could go
too
back to
quiet.
silent films. You know.
Oh, yeah. I know. Not really my bag.
All right, guys, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Alright, smash it.
Thanks for this. It was
Hey, no
a lot
worries.
of fun. Maybe you should close this.
I was gonna say.
Exactly.
Yeah, sorry.
It's
It's blocking Lucas. It's all right.
It's all right. It's better looking than I am.
There you go.
All right,
More useful.
thanks. Thank you for watching. This was another episode of Cinema 5D on the Couch. We thank all our sponsors, G Technology, Rode Microphones, Movidium.com, Film Convert, and FNV. And we'll see you on another show. Thanks for watching.